All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for being here. This is Emergent Writing in the TK Classroom. My name is Drew Giles. I'm the Director for Quality Enhancement and Professional Development with Oakland Unified School District. I have 10 years of experience in early childhood education. First, I was a preschool teacher, then I was a preschool special educator, and then a kindergarten teacher, and eventually I was moved into the central office role where I currently enjoy working with preschool and TK over in Oakland.
And my name's Nicole Nelson, and I work with the New Teacher Center, and we are currently funded by Packard's Starting Smart and Strong initiative, where we work in Oakland Unified with early learning teachers. And I've been an educator for about 15 years, and I'm getting used to using the mic. And I worked in New York as well as California.
So just looking at the time, we were scheduled to start about 10 minutes ago, but I think the lunch presenter might have extended their time. So I don't know, because we were up here getting ready. So we're going to cut a few things from the presentation just so we can get you out at 3 o'clock as promised. And you will have the handouts though. So anything that we don't cover, feel free to look at the handouts. And you can always email either Nicole or I if you have questions about anything that we talk about today. So we're going to get started with a song. Back in 2014, I had the opportunity to work with Dr. Jean Feldman. Does anybody know her? All right. So I co-wrote an ebook with her, and it's called Teacher Survival Guide, What They Didn't Teach You in College. And it has all kinds of tips and tricks for early educators. And we're going to just pick a song from that book, and we're going to sing it right now. So instead of trying to get the kids' attention, saying like, all right, 1, 2, 3, eyes on me, we have some fun songs in here. So we're going to sing If You're Ready to Get Started, and it's to the tune of If You're Happy and You Know It. So feel free to sing along. If you're ready to get started, say I am.
I am.
If you're ready to get started, say I am.
I am.
If you're not, you're going to miss a lot. So let's get started right now. As you can tell with the songs, as you guys know, you have to be creative, and sometimes they just don't work. So that part didn't really work. So we're going to have a connector right now, and if you just want to introduce yourself to the people at your table, you'll share your name, where you work, and what you do, and also share one strategy that you use to teach writing in the TK classroom. And after we do introductions, we'll ask you to popcorn those ideas out. So we'll give you about 2 or 3 minutes to introduce yourself to the people at your table. Does anybody use Tools of the Mind curriculum? Have you heard of it? It's a Vygotsky curriculum that's out of Denver, Colorado. And one of the ways that they get the kids to write is just by talking. They make a play plan. So before the kids are allowed to go play, they make a plan of what they're going to do. And of course, the kids are going to want to write if they want to go play. So it's very encouraging. It's Tools of the Mind. And they have a lot of resources for free on their website. So our objectives basically are to provide you with some more strategies, some tips and tricks for teaching writing within your TK classroom. Our agenda, we had to cut a few things, so basically we're just going to focus on the writing process, fine motor, and some ideas for teaching or for using fine motor and developing that. And then pencil power, it's all about pencil grip. And we're going to do some morning message and some rainbow writing. So a very fun packed next 70 minutes. So some Brain Research 101. This is just here to show you that a lot of the activities that we're going to do today in this presentation are down here at the do level, because we can have you read. You'll probably remember about 10% of that. 20% you remember what you hear. 30% you remember what you see. 50% is what you see and hear. 70% you remember what you say or write, but you actually remember a lot when you're actually doing. Same with the kids. So when they're actively engaged with authentic experiences, that's how they're going to remember everything that you do.
And so a lot of this might be just a refresher for you guys, and we definitely value your additions to the discussion of what we're offering you guys in terms of the tools and strategies we can use. And so one of the things we wanted to do is just review those writing stages of development. And so the first one would be the pre-alphabetic stage, where you see a lot of scribbling or mock letters or random letter strings, and then that advances. And then you have the semi-phonetic or early alphabetic stage, where they're starting to correlate the sounds with the letters, and then phonetic, where they're really gaining some steam and understanding the complexities of the sounds of the letters, and then you get into the higher grades. So let's go to the next slide and dive into stage 1, because oftentimes in the TK classroom, we're going to be in that pre-alphabetic stage. And so we have the scribbling stage where the children are writing in lines, and it just goes on and on and on. Whereas with the mock letters, they're going to start making distinct marks in between those little marks that they're making. And they might look sort of like letters, but they're not intended to be letters. They're not really familiar yet with those letters. Then you have the random letter strings, where they have letters that might be from their name or their favorite letter that they'll throw in there, but there's no real rhyme or reason to it. And then after that, in the semi-phonetic stage, they're catching some of the sounds and writing those on the paper, but not all of them. You'll see that I love you. It's got some of the sounds there, but not quite all. Okay. So we're going to test your knowledge, thinking about the different writing stages. And look at this student's work. He heard the story, "Go away, big green monster." And at the top of the page, he drew the monster and then crossed it out to make it go away. And then at the bottom, he wrote, "His face got away, him teeth got away, him eyeballs got away." And then he signed his name. So looking at that, what stage of development would you say he's in? Scribble, right, exactly, scribble. And what's interesting is there's a lot of strings here. I mean, he's writing from left to right. He's signing his name, so he has some concepts here. And so it is writing, and we always want to celebrate it, even when it doesn't look like the writing we're used to. We want to make sure, wow, look at what you wrote, because it does have meaning. And then the second example, the boy read a book about reptiles, and he drew a picture of a snake and a lizard, and then he wrote, "The lizard bited the snake." And what stage of development would this be? Mock letters, that's right, because you're going to see some strokes that you use for writing, such as diagonals or the cross, the horizontal line. And you can see actually some actual little letters here that are in his name. So he's starting to kind of figure things out. Example 3 is a little girl who told a story, and she illustrated at the top, and at the bottom she said, "We are playing a game to find these things: a ghost, my bed, and teepee." And she wrote her story below. And what stage would that be? Random letter strings, that's right. And you can see there's even a few numbers thrown in there. So she's not intentionally using it yet. She's not realizing that numbers mean something a little different than the letters. Now, what is the child observing in this sheet? Rainbows, that's right. And what kinds of letters did the researcher use? Letters that are in the word, yes. And specific sounds, and also specifically consonants, right? She was able to name those consonants. It's a semi-phonetic stage, which I think you already gathered. And if you see there's a pattern, example, the last one. "One day I was sitting in a moving truck when I was moving." And so which stage would this one be? Phonetic. It's like great, because finally we can really understand and gain meaning from it as well. And then look at the truck, the word truck. What do you think we can surmise by looking at the word truck? Yeah, he heard that, or she heard that word somewhere, and or is obsessed with trucks and happens to read about it all the time. And so what was great is you see it's a little bit neater too, the way it's written, because all those all that brain energy that's going to writing the letters and figuring out what the sound is, you didn't need to figure out the sound, you just knew how it was spelled. So we're going to test you guys. Take a scratch piece of paper, and we have a sentence here. "I want to see an elephant." If you were going to write a sentence for that in the phonetic print level, just take about 20 seconds to write. What would that sentence, "I want to see an elephant," look like phonetically? So with semi-phonetic, you might have some of the sounds represented, like the most obvious ones, but not all of them. So I want to see an elephant. Now let's try the random letter string. This one's fun. You'll see a lot of their favorite letters, or letters that are in their name, because those are the ones they know really well. And then we have mock letters, which is always fun little markings and doodads. And then, of course, scribble. with the horizontal line across. Okay. So we had teaching tips for each stage, but we kind of eliminated this part because we're going to be getting into that a little later. They will be in the handouts, though, if you wanted to look at that later. And we are going to dive into looking at the preschool writing foundations, because we hear in education a lot about Common Core standards, and yet for TK and preschool early learning, we're not represented. And so this California decided to put together the preschool writing foundations, which are really helpful because they outline what skills we should expect to see. And so they talk about emergent writing skills. And we have a form that we've put on your table that it's going to be an activity, and it's going to be a partnership activity. And there are extras by the water table where you have the sheet, and it has the descriptors for children demonstrating emergent writing skills. And it's divided by age, around 48 months of age, and then around 60 months of age, and what children would be exhibiting when they're at that stage. And then you have a little paperclip packet of examples. And we're going to ask that in partnerships or triads, you match those examples to the descriptors on your sheet. What questions can I answer about this activity and how to do it? 1.1, 48 months of age, the child holds a marker with the fist or finger grasp to draw. 1.1, for around 60 months of age, the child holds a pencil or pen with finger grasp to write instead of draw. I'm going to jump down to 1.2. The child produces scribble writing that is linear, mock cursive, and 48 months of age. And then around 60 months, you should see the child drawing a picture and writing a label, but it may not be readable. And then jumping down to 1.3, write marks to represent own name. The child makes a series of circles and lines to represent the name. Whereas at 60 months of age, they're writing their first name nearly correctly. That's nearly, which is really good to remember. So any surprises or wonderings or ahas as you see this that you want to share with the group?
I think something important to remember is, as you advocate with your principals and with instructional leaders within your district who have an idea about what TK should be, always reflect on the pre-K learning standards or the learning foundations as your evidence. This is where my kids should be developmentally. I know you're asking me to do X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. However, this is research-based, and this is what I need to be doing for my TK kids. Mm-hmm. And parents especially, yes, yes.
And this is the type of thing that you could show them. This is available digitally online as well, which is nice. Okay, so now we're going to go on and talk about some practical applications.
So who can tell me, this is a room full of educators, we're going to probably breeze through the next 3 slides, so who can tell me what fine motor skills are? What would be your definition as you would explain to a parent? Finger grasp, how to cut, pencil grasp. So how are we developing those muscles, the tiny muscles? So you can count rice. Yeah, that's an idea. The tweezers. So we're just going to go through this real quick. So here are some just ideas, and you might already know these. And one thing that Dr. Jean had told me when I first started giving presentations is that, you know, if you go to a conference and you learn just one new thing, then it's considered a successful presentation. So just, you might not know these, but just try to find one that might be new for you. So these giant push pins you can put into little styrofoam cups, the little twisty toys so that they're developing the fine motor. The easel, writing against something vertically, so they're using their muscles to push into the easel, then the little clothespins. So here's a fun idea. What you can do is have the kids use chalk, draw a picture, and use a water bottle to squirt away the picture. So a fun activity is doing what's called monster melt. So you have the kids draw a picture of a monster, either on a piece of paper, on a tray, or in a sidewalk, and then have them use a little squirt bottle to make the monster go away. Another idea is using the little tweezers or tongs, picking up maybe rice or marshmallows or pom-poms and put them into a little ice tray. Here's another idea because it's spring, so you have a little flower with some yellow pom-poms, a tong, and a beehive. So you have kids pretend that they're little bees and they're moving the pollen to the hive. Using stampers or punches. Using pipe cleaner and cereal, have the kids pick up the cereal, put it onto the pipe cleaner, make a little bracelet for snack time. Here's an idea kind of like the rice. Have the kids just use a bowl of pennies, have the kids stack up the pennies and make a tower. Or getting a little plastic tub, putting some water and soap, and then giving them the handheld mixers to work on their fine motor. Or another idea for spring is using the coffee filters, eyedroppers to make some different designs. Or making your own finger puppets just out of felt and have an adult sew them together. So there's an example of what you can make. Has anybody used these crayon rocks before? Raise your hand if you know what they are. If you know what they are, you know they're really expensive. So they're like $30 for this set. And what they are essentially is just melted crayons that look like rocks so the kids can hold on to them. So what you can do is just essentially melt your own, make your own. Here are some triangular crayons as you're working on pencil grip. And those Crayola ones are kind of pricey. And I went to the dollar store and these were just $1, the exact same product, but a lot less inexpensive. Here's a fun idea that our teachers in Oakland enjoy doing. We did this at a professional development. You put hair gel into the little Ziploc bags with some food coloring. Make sure you get all the air out, and then the kids can write letters or numbers, whatever they want. All right, so we've got that one done with fine motor. Now we're going to move on to pencil power. So we're going to skip the discussion so that you guys can have more time to look at these strategies. So, of course, here's a song, Pencil Grip, and it's to the tune of Where is Thumbkin? So everybody get your thumbs out, your hands out. And we're going to say, where is pointer? And you're going to get out just your pointer finger. All right, so where is pointer? Where is pointer? On the top, ready to write. Start at the top, start at the top. Where is Thumbkin? Where is Thumbkin? On the side. On the side. Ready to help. Ready to help. Your pencil glide. Your pencil glide. Where is Tall Man? Where is Tall Man? On the bottom. On the bottom. Keeps those letters. Keeps those letters. Where you want 'em. Where you want them. All right. So here's an idea. Everybody has some pom-poms at your table. What you can do is just grab a few. And what you can tell the kids is your hands are really tired when you write and your fingers need a little pillow. So you put your pillow in your palm of your hand and put your 3 fingers down so that they have a little pillow. Or 2 fingers, I'm sorry. And then they can have a pencil graph.
And if you're not sitting at a table, there's extra pom-poms if you want to try it. Okay.
Okay, so if you don't have access to pom-poms, you can always use cotton balls too. They're a little bit bigger, so depending on the kid's hand size, you might want to use those too. Another idea is bird's beaks. So what you're going to do is everybody have a writing utensil, put it on your table, and have the point where there's either the pen or the lead away from you. You're going to have like the part that you're actually going to write with pointed away. And what you do is you tell the kids to make a little bird beak with their first 2 fingers, and then they're going to pick up the pen and flick it back, and it's a little bird beak. And here's a little visual. Right. All right, the next idea is somewhat similar to the pom-pom idea. What you do is you get a little piece of string or yarn, put either a jingle bell or something on the string, and make sure that it's loose enough so it can go around the kid's hand and put it on their wrist. And what they would do is they would hold on to the jingle bell or whatever the object is while they're writing, so it stays with them. It might drive you crazy with all the jingle bells, but maybe around the holidays. And here's a little seatbelt that you can use with the kids. Everybody has some rubber bands. So what you would do is tell the kids, when you go in a car, you have to wear a seatbelt. And when you write, you need to put a seatbelt around your pencil. So you loop the little rubber band around the pencil, put the rubber band on your wrist, and then you pick up your pencil. And you would tell the kids, Mom and Dad, which are your index and thumb fingers, are going to be in the front of the car. And the kids need to be in the back. So it reminds them to keep their fingers in the back. The clothespin idea, you put a clothespin on your writing utensil. Do you have a pen? And it gives you extra control. So the kids would hold on to the clothespin, and it just adds to a little bit of control.
And it kind of forces their fingers because there's only certain places to put them.
Yeah. Another idea, if they need extra adaptations, you could get some balls from the Sports Authority or wherever your sporting goods store is. Out of business. Maybe you'll get some good prices right now. And we'll go to another song. So this is just a little song for the kids to remember where to write. So you always start at the top and then go to the bottom, and this is to the head, shoulders, knees, and toes tune. So if you want to sing it, top to bottom, left to right, left to right. Top to bottom, left to right, left to right. My mind knows that writing always goes top to bottom, left to right, left to right. There we go. And a little poem, you can get your two hands out. And this is to help talk about left and right and which hand the children need to write with, their dominant hand. So you say, which is my left, which is my right? Sometimes it's hard to tell, but when I put my legs out straight, my left one makes an L.
My kids call that the other L.
Yes.
Is this
Yeah.
All right.
So, can you hear me now? Sort of. I'll just talk like this. So for multisensory learning, we want to integrate like kinesthetic, the visual, the tactile, and we have another song. This one is to Where is Thumpkin? And when I was practicing it earlier today, I'd forgotten what horizontal was, so I was like, horizontal. Anyways, so I'll help you out with that. But it goes, horizontal, horizontal, vertical, vertical, horizontal, horizontal, vertical, vertical, then diagonal, add a curve, then diagonal, add a curve. So it's another way to just reinforce the different strokes that you want them to be practicing. So another piece is you could have strokes written on paper, and they flip through the cards and practice creating those strokes in like multisensory tubs with clay, different pieces, so it's really reinforcing again. We also have Play-Doh writing. This one you can use Play-Doh for many different things. You can have the children make something they like or don't like, and then that could spark them to write about that. Or they could make something from a book that they've read, and then write about it. Another piece is that you can have letter plates, so get plastic plates, write on them with permanent marker, and then the children form with Play-Doh the letters on the plate. Or you can even do bubble writing. You can print that out and have the children use the Play-Doh to fill in the bubbles of the letters. You could also have the children write something that's a noun. Make something that's a noun, like a tree, and then you could say, how can you make it plural? And they would write the word tree and then add the S. We also have copycat cards, and these are the developmental strokes. And there's a specific progression, and the kids can start by writing the vertical lines first and the horizontal, eventually to making the triangles, but they could pull these cards out and practice writing these in the different sensory tubs. We also have, if you have chalkboards still, or this could work with wipe-off boards and erasers, where the children there'd be alphabet written, and then they could use the paintbrush and dip it in water and then have the letters magically disappear as they're practicing, or with the eraser, erasing them as they magically disappear. And again, these are all about just reinforcing the different practice. Another one is rainbow writing, which would have been one of my favorites. You could start by making a cross. Oops. I don't know how we jumped. Wow, you guys.
That was me.
There we go. Okay.
Sorry.
And you could do this in partnerships or just alone, where the child has different colors and they just are trying those different strokes over and over again in a different, fun, fresh way, or on large chart paper or like a wipe-off board, depending on if you have the markers. You can also have like the sand table and get rocks from the riverside and write letters, and then have the children practice writing the letters and just feeling that in a different sensory way. Also, Mother's Day is coming up, so you might have some words that you've been reviewing, such as love, and they could have those little cards that they're practicing in the sensory bucket. This one's really great. How do you think this was made, this rainbow letters? This is a sand tub. If you know the answer because you saw, did you see? Go ahead.
I've done it before.
Yay.
You paint at the bottom of the box.
Right.
With a rainbow, and then you pour the salt on top of it.
Thank you. And so it's just a box top, and literally the child painted it. So it's a nice activity that is interactive for them. Thank you for sharing that. Also, I've always coveted the light boxes, and those can be very expensive. But you can get those under storage, the storage boxes that go under the bed, and fill those with holiday lights, and then it becomes a light table. So, yeah. Way cheaper, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just a plastic tub. And the tub, typically the top will close around the cord, so you can be okay. Yeah, yeah. So. These are blocks on the top.
They look like they're clear plastic, some of them, so shiny.
And those aren't as expensive, the clear plastic pieces to use. There's also the shaving cream, tried and true. You want to make sure if you're going to introduce that to the children that they get time to play with it a little bit first, because they're so excited by this piece. And if you're not into spreading it all over the table, you can put it on little lunch trays, that type of thing. Or cookie sheets. Oh, and dollar store cookie sheets. Dollar store. Yes, yes.
I told a new teacher, oh, this is really cool. Oh my gosh, she would never do it again.
Oh, no.
One experience.
Yes.
But the room smells.
Oh, so a little goes a long way, definitely. Yeah. And so again, this is just another way to practice the different strokes. Yeah, and clean off the table. Then we have highway letters, and these can be used in different ways. One is just by laminating the letters and then having them try it with the wipe-off markers and then wiping it off, or using Play-Doh. Or you can also add the green dot and have the red dot for the end, because you always want to make sure they know where to begin and where to end. And you have the car, and then they start on the green, and then they drive around to the red end point. And these are downloadable at makinglearningfun.com.
Also purchase them, that makes them, you can't get them at Lakeshore anymore, but you can order them online, Amazon. I ordered them this year.
And these are also available pre-made by somewhere on Amazon, right?
It's actually cheaper to buy pre-made than it is to use your ink to print them.
Or to laminate them, possibly, yeah.
I always ask my parents to do that. You know, parents always want to help out, and a lot of them have jobs at offices, right? Well, I'm in Oakland. Yeah.
It depends. Okay. We also have Play-Doh books that can be made with file folders, and again, it's having them practice the different strokes. And so you might ask, can you make shapes? And then the students can use yarn or wiki sticks or Play-Doh to practice making the different shapes. And it can be made into a book that's taken apart. But you have the lines, just another way, and then curves as well. And what's nice is it's just easy to store away. And the last one I'm going to show you is Lottie Dottie. And this one, you make the dot letters, and you would start, again, noting the beginning where you want them to start with a green dot and the ending with a red dot. And then you would place a dot of glue on each of those dots and let it dry. And then after that, the children can practice using it on their fingers and feel the dots, but they also can do the rubbings, right? And then connect the dots. So it's an interactive way. Okay. So now we're going to do a quick
gonna
piece.
do it.
Okay, good.
All right, I think we made up some time, so let me go back and unhide these slides so we can actually do them.
And this one's all about the body writing, so really engaging the whole body in helping the children how to learn. And my favorite one is karate writing, which we will try.
All right. Are there any questions so far? Or ideas that you would like to share? I know I do a lot of professional development, and it's always on the surveys that teachers wish that they would have more time to talk because we all like to share our ideas. And what's your name?
Kim.
Kim, would you like to share your idea with the character socks?
I
And
bought some socks at Walmart, with Olaf, etc. on it. If you take that flat sock and cut a little hole in the top left, like right here, and then one little hole right up here, then the kid puts their thumb and their pointer finger up through, and the rest of the sock holds those fingers down, and they can use the character sock.
hey.
I didn't bring it up. I learned it somewhere, but I taught for a long time, and I had never seen that. I thought it was cute.
Let's give her a snap, crackle, pop. Snap, crackle, pop. All right, thank you. Any other ideas? Yes.
So I have a poem that I say it's pick up the pencil, put it to bed, put a pillow under its head.
Oh.
Nice, I like that. Did everybody hear that? Pick up the pencil, put it to bed,
Put a pillow under its head.
put a pillow under its head. That's a great idea. Yeah, good connection. Any other ideas that you would like to share before we move on to body writing?
But I have a question.
Sure.
So, in this era of kindergarten doesn't have time to do handwriting anymore, and the teachers have pretty much kissed it all goodbye and said, I don't care how their pencil grip is, anything, just so they can write their name and write, what we need them to write, which goes counter to what I believe. But I wanted to know if there's is there like research about if they don't have a correct pencil grip from like the get-go of writing, does it impede them in the years to come, or what? Do you know anything about that?
I would say so, but I can't cite specific research. What do you think? Carpal tunnel?
Yeah, I've heard it's fatigue.
Fatigue?
They can't write a lot.
It's really hard, because if they're holding it like this, and you're getting to the point where you're writing sentences, you're not
Right.
gonna,
Like holding
you're gonna
it
give up.
between their fingers.
I haven't seen that.
Or even the grip, right?
And parents don't seem to care, and like some parents show them that way.
Well, you figure by the time they get to where they're writing multiple sentences, like our kindergarten is supposed to write 3 pages in writing workshop a day.
Oh, wow.
And sentences and pictures on it, and that's gonna be really hard to do physically.
And it's funny because I'm giving a presentation on writing, and I'm the son of a preschool teacher, and my mom tried her hardest to get me to have a good pencil grip, and I still don't have it, so I have calluses on my middle finger because I don't write correctly. But yep.
Well, so I guess it's the whole do no harm idea. I mean, are we like, if you are working with them and you're trying to, get them to do it correctly, but if they don't, like, just let it go?
Now, I would talk to your OT if you have one at your school and see if they have any pamphlets or brochures that you can give to families. Handwriting Without Tears is a good resource. I know it's expensive, but you could always just buy one of the books.
It's really done one-on-one.
Yeah.
Just real quick, I was actually talking to the OT at our district about that, and she was saying that as long as they're comfortable and as long as they can write like a lot without fatigue, then just let them be. Like she said that she has one student who writes like this,
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
and that he can write more than the other kids. So she said, I'm just gonna let him. I don't know. So that was her perspective, which I thought was interesting. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
My daughter worked at OT for years, and I quiz the OT regularly. The whole philosophy, from what I remember, is that you want to do it in a way that's ergonomically healthy, so you're not hurting yourself holding like this or like this. And also, it's the same thing with printing. You want to have the speed and accuracy, so they know it's much harder to push up to write a letter than it is to let gravity pull it down.
Right.
So that's what it is. That's why the correct word letter formation and the grip. But she said common grips that work are the 2 fingers on the top. This one can work, and of course your classic. But no.
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 Thank you. So one idea for body writing is invisible writing. So I'm sure you guys do this in your classroom already. Use either 1 or 2 fingers. Another idea is using a little writing wand, and you have the materials at your table if you want to make it as you're listening. So essentially what you do is you get a stick and some ribbon, and then you just tape the ribbon around the stick, and then each child can make their own so it's meaningful for them. And then you just write the words in the air, or the letters, or the numbers, whatever it is, or the shapes. This is another example of one that I made with tissue paper. It's a little bit bigger. And then this was at the dollar store, so I thought maybe the teacher or the leader of the day could have like the magic wand, and then everybody else has their own. So we invite you to make your own as you're going along with this presentation. Another is noodle writing. So getting those foam noodles from Walmart or Target, cutting them up into small sections, and giving the children one so they can work on writing giant numerals or letters. One idea that you can do is tell them, all right, at Statue of Liberty, everybody needs to hold up their noodle just like that so that you can regain their focus. Tummy writing, it's great for building control and strength, so have the kids write on their tummy and starting from the top to the bottom. Palm Pilot, not that. Who remembers one of these Palm Pilots? So this is kind of just like a joke for teachers. I don't expect the kids to know this, but not this Palm Pilot. What you would do instead is you hold up your palm and then you use your finger as the writing utensil. So it's multi-sensory. And then back to back, a fun idea is kind of like playing telephone. You have all the kids stand in a circle back to back. You write a letter or a number or something on a child's back, and then they have to go around the circle, and then you ask the last child, what letter is it? And I'm sure it's going to be different. Body parts, just writing. Do you want to write with your nose, your elbow, your hands, or your bottom, whatever? And karate writing. This is something from Dr. Jean. And this, if we had a little bit more space, I'd have you guys stand up and actually do some karate, but Nicole and I will demonstrate it for you, and then we'll practice. So essentially what it is you would, for any letter that starts up tall, like a T or a K or what else, an L or an F, you would actually punch up into the air. Or for any letter that starts in the middle, like an A or an O, you would punch it in front of you. And then for any letter that starts with, or that has a tail, like a G or a J, you'd actually kick. So for example, the word Tony, you could have your friends or your students do karate kicks to spell a friend's name. So for Tony, you would do T-O-N, then kick Y, all right? Any more examples, or did you get that? All right. So if you go onto YouTube, there's a video of Dr. Jean doing the whole alphabet, so this could be a fun way to start your morning. And it's just called Karate Writing Dr. Jean, and it's a 3-minute video that you can share with your kids.
There's also some letter things that like they make their whole body into different letters and stuff, little letter cards.
I've seen those. That's a good idea for a brain break.
They love them, especially when the principal comes in and heels and a skirt and we're doing some weird crazy one and, well, you know, this is what we're doing, you need to do it.
That's right. That's cool. All right, so now is a section called Read to Write and Write to Read. And this is all about using paper to make books. So we have this quote, what if a child can do a worksheet, it's a waste of time. If a child can't do a worksheet, it's a waste of time, so why do worksheets? Friends don't let friends do worksheets. So the first one is the Snip Snap book.
Yeah. And so it's really creating different books that the children will have fun using to make things. And so there is paper in the center of the tables, and there's extra if you want to grab it if you're on the side. You would have 2 pieces of paper. You could fold them in half, like this, and then literally just tear. Whoop. Not too far down. I got a little carried away. And then you would fold away from you, and then fold towards you. Fold away from you, fold towards you. Fold away, fold towards and away. And when you're done, you have a binding machine. And you can do it with, I think it's here. Oh yeah. What would be some uses for this type of book that you would use in your classroom? A journal.
Letter book.
Letter book. Yeah. feelings book. Yes, definitely those. And we have a few more that we've listed here. A few, just a few. And one of our favorites is the vocabulary spelling words, where Monday they could write a word on each page. Tuesday they would write the definition. Wednesday they could illustrate or cut out a picture and add it. And Thursday they could write a sentence. So different ways to use the Snip Snap.
What do they do on Friday?
Read it to each
Read
other.
it. Yeah, that's right.
Also, you can change it up and fold the paper instead of the flat hot dog way. You could, the hamburger way. You could fold it this way and do the Snip Snap, so it's longer, or use the colored sheet of paper on the outside. Okay.
So the brochure is a very simple book. What you do is you just give the kids a piece of paper. You tell them to make an O with their paper. It's going to overlap. And then you just have them slam their hand down like a little karate chop, and it'll make some lines. And it doesn't need to be perfect. It's just for them to write. So even if, I'll give you a little example. So you make a little O, and then do a little karate chop. I'm not going to use the projector. And then you have your lines. So essentially you have 3 different parts. So you make a brochure. And what are some ideas that you could use a brochure book for? Sequencing. Yep. What else?
What if instead of the brochure, you just use it for your sorting and stuff?
You could use it for sorting. Yeah, you can make it into like a math map maybe. Making lists. All right, let's see what else we came up with. Doing story elements, sorting letters. You can make an all about me, or if they're going on a field trip, you can have them make a brochure about the zoo or wherever they're going. Fact families, they can make biographies, or sorting what letters have lines, what letters have curves, or what letters are have lines and curves.
You could use it for science, like we just did insects have 3 major body parts. And you could,
Oh yeah, 3 major body parts, life cycles, Venn diagram. For sure, that's a great idea.
So the next one is the step book, and you would take 2 pieces of paper, and the back paper, so you guys can see my back paper, would be about 1 inch lower, right? And then I would fold it down so that then I have a step book that I could staple at the top and have a variety of pages, right? So again, it's 2 pieces of paper, and then the back one would be a little lower than the front one. And then, oh, I already folded it, so I'm a little confused. And then you'd fold it like this, so it became a step book. And Drew has one that's been made out of construction paper. And what would be some ways to use this in your classroom, the step book? Counting, definitely. The Hungry Caterpillar, yes, definitely. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, ways to show the 4 seasons, or talk about sets and numerals, layers in a rainforest or the ocean. There's a lot of opportunity. Okay. You can also create bigger books by using more sheets of paper, and if you're studying the 5 senses, you could have the title. You could use 6 pages, use the title page, and then write about the 5 senses. Or days of the week, 8 pages, title page with those 7 days. Planets in the solar system, the continents, lots of different uses.
All right, so next is the picnic book. This is a really fun one where you can tell the kids a story as you're making a book. So if you want to grab a piece of paper, do you guys need paper? You're fine? Do you want one? Here you go. You're welcome.
Here you go. Do you like it? Oh, you got it, okay.
Do you need something? All right. Perfect. All right, so what you do is you tell the kids the story. Let's go on a picnic. But first we're going to need a picnic basket. So here's your picnic basket. And you're going to fold it in half. So this is your picnic basket. And then on our picnic, we're going to need some hot dogs. So you fold it again into 4ths now. And you know what? I really don't like hot dogs. I like hamburgers better. So we're going to fold it again. We're going to bring some hamburgers onto our picnic. So it should be a little rectangle like this. And you know, when you're having a picnic, it's always comfortable to sit on a bench. So what you're going to do is unfold it and make it into a little upside down V. And using your table, you're going to put the two pieces of paper out like this. You're going to fold it out so it's like a bench. Or a nun's hat, or witch's hat, yeah. And when you're on a picnic, it's always more fun to share. So in your middle line that you have, you're going to tear it to the bottom of your bench, just like that. And you're going to fold the right side into the left. You can make another.
There you go.
And you have a little book.
Yeah. So can you review that step real quick again?
Yep, we'll start over. All right, so first you're going on a picnic. You need your picnic basket, so you fold it in half. And you want to take your hamburgers, so you fold it in half again. And your hot dogs, fold it again. And it's always more fun to sit on a bench, so you unfold it. And you make it into your bench. And it's always more fun to share, so you rip the top half, and then you fold them into each other, and then just collapse it, and you have your picnic book. And isn't this more exciting than using a worksheet or something? The kids have their own mini books that they get to use. And here's the adult size version that looks like that. So there's that. And that story is in your handout, so you'll be able to remember it and recall it when you go back to work. So you can make some letter books. You could have the kids read the room, do fact families, shape or color books, or if you've been studying all about animals, have them make an animal book. They could make a phone book using their friends' names and phone numbers.
Also, if you were in the math group, they had the book Fortunately in it, and Fortunately, Unfortunately, and you can use this to make a Fortunately, Unfortunately story with the math patterns is what they were looking for in the book. In the math section, or the PD that they did this morning, they have the book Fortunately, Unfortunately, and if you don't know it, you should definitely get it. But they were using it to look at patterns and then how many sharks are in the family that is chasing him or something like that. And then you could use this book to create their own Fortunately, Unfortunately scenarios.
The next book is the flip book, which is right here. So what you'll do is you'll just get a piece of paper, you'll fold it like the burrito style lengthwise, fold it in half, and then you fold it in, actually I'm not going to start with one that's already done. So you get your piece of paper, you're going to fold it lengthwise, and then you're going to fold it in half again, and then fold it in half again. So then, once you open it, you should have 8 squares or rectangles, and you have the kids just rip just the front. You fold it in half, and then you'll just rip along the front lines on each of the front lines.
Or they could cut if they're practicing
Or
with
cut,
scissors already.
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
This is a flip book on the fly. And then essentially like a Popsicle book. So what you can do, we just have an adult size one. So what you do is you get a piece of paper folded in half, hole punch, and you put the popsicle stick on the top, and then you would use a rubber band to hold down to fasten the popsicle stick so that that's your bind. So essentially what it is for this book, you could use a ruler or anything in your classroom, and you put little brads in there, or you could use a rubber band, and it can be a math book if you use a ruler. Or with your crayons, you could use a crayon as the bind. So you cut your holes, and then you put a crayon instead of the popsicle stick, and it's a color book. Yes?
We did little menus, and we used plastic forks and spoons.
That's a great idea.
Nice. Yeah.
And chopsticks you could use too if you want to make a Chinese food.
We did one in the fall, and the kids did leaves. They just collected different shapes of leaves for math, and instead of a popsicle stick, they had to pick a branch they found.
Oh.
And so we used, they were very cute.
That's great. Yeah, so you could use plastic fork or spoon, wooden skewers or beads to make a math book, a color book using a crayon, nature book using a stick. You could use a novelty pencil for a seasonal book, or a toothbrush for dental health week, or a candy cane or a cinnamon stick for something during the holidays.
Then we have the simple little books where you could have a stack of pages, staple them in each corner, and then cut them down and across, and you've got 4 little books. Or you could just staple here on the side 4 times and then have the long, what did you call them?
Skinny books.
Skinny books.
Just like this.
Skinny books. So that's another way of just making a quick little book format.
And you could reduce and reuse and recycle your cereal boxes. So just cutting a diagonal line on the cereal box, and you can have all the books that the kids make and just put them into the cereal box, put it at their desk, so when they finish their work early, they can either read a book that they've already made, or there's materials where they can actually write their own book, because we always have those early finishers. This is a great idea for them.
Yeah, there you go.
And you can always use like wrapping paper or something to make it prettier if you want, but I mean the cereal box is kind of cool too. And then morning message.
Yeah, if you could press it one more time.
Of course.
We're going to have you guys turn and talk for a minute and tell someone next to you, what does your morning message look like? And if you don't have a morning message, if you don't do that, go ahead and talk about what you know about it. It's so great to hear the buzz in the room, and in the ideal world, we would be able to talk a lot, because obviously you guys have so much that we can learn from each other, right? Just like with the students in the classroom. So thank you for sharing what you do. We're going to offer this as one suggestion for a morning message. And we just want to take it back a minute, because morning message has trickled down from the upper grades and oftentimes is not adapted for the younger kids and the developmentally appropriate practices that should be happening for them. And so what it isn't is pre-scripted printable words where it's just a fancy letter that you might write to them in the morning. It should be fun and interactive. It also, people tend to always have children fill in the blank or find mistakes in the writing, but it's important to have it really so that you're modeling the different ways of writing. And also to focus it on the world around the students and really anchor it in what's happening in their direct world. Okay. So why use a morning message? One is that it connects the written word with the oral language, so children are actually seeing, as they're creating the message, the teacher writing the word that's connected to what we're saying. Another piece, is it develops concepts about print, because it's modeling those basic things in action. And then it's also modeling the writing process, because we're really trying to develop those habits of a writer, and so we're showing the kids the way that this happens and kind of getting rid of the mystery of writing. So some basic concepts that are reinforced would be the left to right progression of text. They're seeing that happen as you write it. The return sweep going in the next line. Also just the simple fact that print carries a meaning, a message rather. And then there's punctuation, like the period and question mark. It's modeling that in the one-to-one correspondence of the words and the spaces between words. So ideally, the morning message would be a daily basis, and like you said, it doesn't have to be a morning message. It could be just it's time to write. Let's write. And so in the beginning, the materials that we suggest you have are the easel with the chart pad in a specific area, because oftentimes you'll start seeing kids go to that area too and choosing to read that message throughout the day. Space for specific tools you might need, like markers or pointers, magnifying glasses, correction tape especially. And then the director's chair, because you want to engage the students in this and appoint one child to lead. And if they're the leader, then they need their own microphone. And we'll tell you what they're going to be doing during that activity. So in the beginning, it would the first sentence of the morning message is always the same. And it would say, blank is the leader today. So if Drew were my leader, it would say, Drew is the leader today. What's great about starting with these names is they're seeing those children's names around the room and using them so much that that's going to help them be able to read it a little bit easier. Then the second line is an original sentence from the leader. So the leader gets to choose something they like. So if Luke is the leader today, Luke said, I like to eat pizza. And so each day that morning message would be the same. But it would be a different leader. And so it'd be like, Natasha is the leader today. Natasha said, I like elephants, right? And then they get practice reading these words, and it's also predictable so that even if they're not really reading it, they're in the habit of reading it.
And what I've seen a teacher in Oakland do to go even further with this activity is she has her leader from the day before. So let's say Luke was today's leader. Tomorrow, when they're doing this activity, she'll give the chart paper to Luke, and he can go to his table and draw a picture that represents him eating pizza. So it connects the previous day's learning, and it's really meaningful for him, and then he gets to take home that chart paper, and he's on cloud 9.
Or you can even keep the picture and like you could like have them read the room with it.
For sure.
And then let them take it home.
That's a
Like,
great
have them
idea.
go through the whole book and then start again, or and you could always have like if you got through 24 of them, you could let the first 12 take that home, and then you're building that other 24, and then you always would have the wall up once you've got.
That's a great idea.
Could you hear that in the back? She's saying post each page each day, so you'd have it across the room, and the kids could read the room because they were familiar with what Luke did this day, Natasha the leader this day, and so on. And then send some home, and then come in with the next dozen children. So the idea is that we really want to just develop habits of a writer, and so as you're writing that sentence and modeling it for them, you're really showing like the spaces between the words. You're also going to make sure that at the end of the sentence, you'll be like, oh, what comes at the end of a sentence? A period, and be really loud about it. So instead of providing that prescribed the prescribed message, they're seeing the actual action, and again, taking away that mystery. So writing doesn't just appear. And then when you're finished with the message, you can read it together as a class with the teacher pointing to each word. And then the leader gets to lead the class and read it themselves. So it's pretty great. Please, yes.
In my morning message, what we do is we have a question, so then the kids can share and talk about it, and then they can come back. And you can even go further and write that down. It's already up there, but I like the idea.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. So having a specific question within the message, and then the children can like turn and talk or pair share about and answer it, and then come back together. That's a great way to make it interactive for everyone, definitely. Okay. Yes, please.
I have a few students who know a lot of sounds, so I do the whole stretching. You know, I'll stretch the word out for them when I'm modeling, doing the spelling.
So another thing is, as you're creating it, you could really make it obvious about stretching the sounds out and saying, okay, if it's let's say we're starting with most, what's the first sound? What's the letter we're going to use? And then they can help you come up with that. And oftentimes, if you have your high flyer students, they can help you write the rest of it, or they can start coming up and writing it. So.
Also, like remember like the old zero language, I can't help it. So I'm like, oh, if I did something wrong in this message, oh no, I'm so sad. I know I did something wrong. I have to find it. Like not a capital for the name. I'll say, oh, I thought I was done, but I don't know if I am. What's wrong with this letter?
Right.
They're like, you need a period. Oh, but I was so excited when I said that. Is that wrong? No, we're not somebody should.
So you could intentionally leave things out, such as like punctuation marks, and being like, I'm done with what I said, and they'll be like, wait, you missed the period. Put a question mark.
You have to get really emotional about it, or they get careless.
Yes. Okay, as Drew closes the day, because I know we've thrown a lot at you, I'm going to be handing out the surveys in terms of feedback forms.
So we have 3 last things before you go. If you want a free prize, I would stay. So we're doing this rainbow writing, and then we'll do one more thing, and then the surveys, if you have the luxury of time. So the first thing that we're going to do is go to your table, and you should have a little black square, and you can either use your writing wand or one of the craft sticks that's at your table, and if you don't have a table, we can give one to you. And just write one thing that you commit to doing in your classroom next week. So I wrote a writing center with more fun. Just pick one thing.
If you write it on our email, we'll give it to you if you email us. Thank you.
So you're picking one thing that you want to do
Sorry. Thank you.
tomorrow or next week that will really
Thank you, guys.
encourage more
And
writing.
you got the emails?
Sure.
If you want to hand out,
That's
good, okay. I know, thank you. Okay, good. Okay, got it.
Or you can draw a picture if you want.
Yeah, you're on.
Nicole, where did you get these?
Those are on Amazon, actually.
Amazon.
Yeah, and relatively well priced.
Rainbow paper?
I think I just looked up rainbow scratch paper.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Write it down in the survey.
Rainbow scratch paper.
Rainbow scratch paper from Amazon. Lakeshore also sells it for $9.99. This one doesn't smell. Lakeshore smells really toxic, so you might want to get this one from Amazon. So the last thing that I want to share with you is this week, it's Teacher Appreciation Week, and we want to show our appreciation to you all. So we are offering an abbreviated version of Dr. Jean and my book. If you like our Facebook page, it's called Teacher Survival Guide, What They Didn't Teach You in College, and it has this emblem right here. And send a message to the Teacher Survival Guide page just saying, hey Drew, please send me an abbreviated copy of the book. If you don't have Facebook, come and talk to me afterwards and I can get your email address. But please like this page. We share a lot of cool ideas and strategies from the book.
So it's Teacher Survival Guide?
Yes. The Facebook page is called Teacher Survival Guide, What They Didn't Teach You in College. And it's perfect for early educators, TK teachers, kindergarten, first grade teachers. So feel free to share that with your friends too. And we have plastic bags where
we're passing them around at the tables if you want to just take
your
some of the
goodies.
extra items for your house. Not that there's a ton.
And are there any
Drew,
questions?
Can you say what the napkins were for?
Oh, the napkins are for books. So, your kids are always going to have birthday parties or something, so you can ask the parents to bring you back the
It's
extra
Teacher
napkins,
Survival Guide.
and you can
There
put
you
the
go.
paper in them, staple it, and it can be a theme book. So if you have I don't know, what's one of the books? Some snowflakes, you can make a snow book or something. Or if there's Spider-Man or summer, whatever. And in true fashion, we're going to end with a
just my
song.
covers. So you know how you have them extra,
it's-
families will have a lot
It's
of
time
those
to say
extras?
goodbye, and it goes to the tune of She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain. So if you all would like to sing one last song today, it is time to
perfect.
say
So they can do
goodbye
that.
to all my friends.
Oh, yeah,
It
that's
is
even better.
time to say goodbye to all my friends.
Goodbye.
It is time to say goodbye. Give a smile and wink your eye. It is time to say goodbye to all my friends. Goodbye, friends. Yeehaw! Thank you
Thanks, you
very
guys.
much. Okay.